Tomorrow night in the South End, there will be a chance to make some public art while supporting creative opportunities for young people. The event will take place at Holy Trinity Church on Shaman Avenue, co-sponsored by Onein3 Boston and Artists for Humanity. The event's called Art with Heart. To tell us about the event is our guest from Onein3, the program manager, Chloe Ryan. Thank you for being with us again, Chloe.
Thanks for having us.
First of all, talk about this Onein3. This is about an important demographic in Boston, and it's getting bigger, so take it from there.
Sure. So 1 in 3 people in Boston are 20 to 34-year-olds. That's 35% of our demographic, and that's the highest percentage out of any major city in the nation. So basically we have, the most young professionals out of any city in the country.
Now, I remember many years ago when I was in that age group, I visited a friend in another city, and I said, this is so much friendlier than Boston. I guess that's one of the reasons why we have 1 in 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think the city and Mayor Walsh are really committed to thinking about ways in which we can keep, young adults here in Boston, as well as enhance the environment for young adults. And so part of that is just offering, an opportunity for young adults to get together and to connect and to get to know their neighbors and to get to know, lifelong Boston residents, and then also, transplants to Boston.
Now, an event like this, because it's got to do with public art, I imagine you're going to get people who might have some interest in the arts, but you don't have to be a certified artist, right?
Definitely not. No, we're bridging two communities, basically. Artists for Humanity, which is a fantastic organization here in Boston, and then, young professionals who may have no experience making art at all, but will have the opportunity to get to know about Artists for Humanity, as well as some of the other public art initiatives we have going on here in Boston. We'll be joined by Julie Burrows, who's the City of Boston's art czar. So she's going to be giving remarks and also mixing and mingling with the crowd. So I'm sure she'll have a few things to say about, where public art is going in Boston.
So what's the plan with this project exactly?
With the Art with the Heart?
Yes. What are you going to be doing inside this church on Shaman Avenue?
Yeah. So Artists for Humanity, 3 of their most talented youth are going to be leading a participatory art project. It's going to be a mural painting of Boston. So there's going to be a huge canvas. I've been told spray paint. I've been told other, mediums, and it's going to be kind of about free expression, but, with the idea that what does Boston mean to you? And eventually after this, this mural is created tomorrow night, we'll display it in City Hall somewhere.
Now, I guess that this is an old church. You're going to be converting it temporarily into a studio, essentially, right? Yeah,
we're thrilled about the opportunity to use the former Trinity Church in the South End. It has 60-foot high ceilings. It's a really unique, raw space. We're telling everyone to wear their coats and dress warmly because it's a raw space, but it's perfect for an event like this. And it's also, another good opportunity to showcase a jewel in the city of Boston and Boston's South End.
Well, a couple of things about the context here, and one is just where this is happening. Yes, it's in the South End. It's in the part of the South End not too far from the Ink Block. Lots of changes, crossover 4-point channel, and you're in the Southie, more changes, and of course that's where Artists for Humanity is located. So it sounds like you picked an interesting spot here.
We did, and the spot kind of chose us as well. One of our 1 in 3 council members, which the program has a council that has people appointed by the mayor to work on projects like these, works for a development firm in Boston who owns the property. So in that way, we had this kind of unique access to the building that we might not have had. So we're really excited and lucky about that.
Now, what do these kinds of arts projects do? They're public, they're temporary. I'm thinking of Bartlett Yards near Dudley Square too. How does that change a neighborhood?
Yeah, well, we had an event at Bartlett Yards too because, the young adult demographic in Boston in general, and I think, nationwide, is just really drawn to public art and, ways to be creative and creative expression in the city of Boston. I know the mural over in the Greenway is such a big deal and people are really proud of it. So it's, part of the city's effort to kind of highlight and showcase public art and support artists and creative cultural movements here, and it's really well received by young adults.
Now, what about the connection between how you can use public art to put a stamp on a neighborhood and your mission, which is chiefly civic engagement for people in this age group?
Yeah, well, I mean, just by virtue of being at an event like Art with Heart, you're kind of becoming more civically engaged. You're learning about Artists for Humanity, which at all times is looking for, more people to be involved and support their program. So you're supporting a good cause. You're interacting with people from the city. So Julie Burrows, I mentioned, Dan Coe, who's the mayor's chief of staff, is going to be there. So you're learning about city initiatives, which I think is really important. We're kind of packaging some of these things in just a different way. So just by virtue of being there, you're doing your part in terms of a civic resident.
And of course, public art is very much the spirit of Artists for Humanities, because what you've got there is having teenagers mostly, I think, get civically engaged and artistically motivated by doing community projects as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They create some amazing work. And you mentioned the Artists for Humanity headquarters in South Boston. You just walk in and that place is just so alive with energy and activity. And it's all these, future 1 and 3-ers, really, because it's the teenagers and the high school students who are employed by Artists for Humanity to learn these skills and then, create art for, public access and then for companies like Seed Street. So it's a really nice kind of partnership.
Well, they were parallel because they have young people from different backgrounds getting together. You have people from different backgrounds getting together. So what can people look forward to in the future, even if they don't make this particular event tomorrow night?
Yeah, so we definitely have monthly events to bring people together just so they can meet their neighbors and, make a connection in the community. Kind of like to think of it as, the difference between if you do know your neighbors, then you might be more likely to stay in Boston than leave. So we have monthly neighborhood nights. Our next one is coming up actually a week from tomorrow in the Seaport area. And it's just an opportunity for young adults to get to kind of know each other and know the city a little bit better.
And you can't network too much, especially in that age group. One reminder about tomorrow night in the South End, exactly what time and what place on Shawmut Avenue?
Yeah, sure. So it's in the former Trinity Church. That's 136 Shawmut Avenue in the South End. You can visit our Facebook page, which is Onein3 Boston. We're on Twitter at Onein3. We have an Eventbrite page. So, if you just kind of Google this, you'll be able to find the information. And we'll be there from 7 to 10 p.m. and it will be a great time.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Chloe Ryan from Onein3 Boston. In a moment, the report from Roxbury with Derek Lumpkins.